Would you like to be able to make literally an extra $1,000 per pay period for only about 20 more minutes on your shift? Well, that's exactly what we're doing here with our 4-hour public swing trading videos that we're doing live on YouTube every Tuesday or about every other Tuesday or so. So please make sure you're catching those and let me show you exactly what we're doing. So before I do that, I have to give a shout out to the team who's been making all the nonstop shorts from our morning classes. Those videos are available on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all the places. You can scan this little thing and it'll take you to all those. Tons of nuggets there, tons of information, tons of little snippets, and kind of just a peek inside what we do in our classes. Now, before we get into all of the trades, the ones that we're reviewing from 2 weeks ago, and of course a few more for you tonight, we have to say, disclaimer, obviously don't trade what you can't afford to lose. I know right now the crypto market's booming and woohoo, that's great. I know right now the broker, situation is just a mess. Okay, that's not so great. But at the end of the day, you're still in charge of the decisions you make, the good ones, the bad ones, and the ugly ones, and everything in between. So please make sure you're not risking more than you can afford to lose. Don't bet your mortgage on it. It's not worth it. I don't care how good you think your skill is. I promise you that's the time where the market or the broker is going to do its thing, right? Murphy's Law, if you will. Be mindful. This industry can pay your bills and give you the financial freedom to change your lifestyle. And I'm not just talking Maserati money. I'm talking just financial freedom money. If you take it seriously, if you have good risk management and you stick with a simple strategy that's proven and you manage it accordingly. So that's what I've got on that. Now let's go take a look at what we did. Spreadsheet first to review the trades we looked at 2 weeks ago. And then we'll go over a couple of new ones that we have for you this coming week or two. Let's start here. First and foremost, 2 weeks ago, we looked at these two trades, EURNZD and GBP Chef. Mind you, this information is predefined. It's not subjective to, oh, well, she knew better, or this is why she was able to accomplish that, and I was not. This is why it works for other people and not for me. We have a predefined strategy. We have predefined rules, predefined everything, which make it easy for you to say, wait, if I followed this system exactly, even if I failed at it by X%, can I still be net profitable? That's really the question you're asking yourself, whether it be with this strategy or these YouTubes or really any other. The purpose of me doing these videos has never been to call a quote winning trade. It's only to show that when you stick with any system with reasonable sound management long enough, you can be net profitable. And that is not the reason why people are losing. People are losing because they hop from person to person, mentorship to mentorship, indicator to indicator, strategy to strategy, platform to platform, and they're just spinning their wheels, right? It's always something. It's always the indicator. It's always the system and the strategy, the broker, the mentorship. It's always something outside of them. And the sooner we recognize that it's 100% of this, or, well, let's be more fair, a large percent of this is inside of us and not outside of us, I promise you the sky's the limit. So yes, 2 weeks ago, approximately, these are the two trades we looked at. Predefined, you're protecting within about 25 to 50 pips no matter what. I would say ATR is a little bit better, but not everybody is really comfortable with that. So this is, again, predefined. So far to date, this is from May 2023. This is only about every 2 weeks. This is what? Week 25, give or take. So 25 weeks at let's see, and put that at 25. At about 20 minutes piece, it's about 7.5 hours. To give you an idea, that's what this is worth. This is a standard lot size, which is a 1.0 on most brokers. Take that with a grain of salt. I know broker to broker varies, but this is one standard. That's what that's worth for about 20 minutes of your time every 2 weeks. Obviously, you can go as low as this depending on the pair and the instrument. Also, not a bad way to be. I promise you, that's more than most of y'all's savings account is making. By far. More than most of your savings accounts. I mean, this is, 100 to 1. Unless you've got a couple million in there. I promise you. Definitely very, 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 very much higher. To give you an idea, I always want to highlight this just so people understand that if you're starting to invest, whether that's on futures or Forex or stocks or crypto, you pick your poison. If you're starting with approximately this, now this is not enough on some of those platforms. This is not enough to trade for futures or options. Maybe enough on some of the exchanges or FX, but not on all of them. But to give you an idea, risking 1%, that's about where you'd be at the end of this. If you're risking about 5% per trade, you've already made 90 grand. And that's including the losses. The big ones, the small ones, everything in between. You're never going to be net positive at all times. You want that to ebb and flow. It's part of it. A guy in our class this morning, he said something, he's the brilliant one, by the way. He said something about, God, I'm going to mess it up. lump sum wins. Oh, but it was a good concept, right? It's that this win happens in this big bubble, and then the rest of the time is either flat or negative or whatever. You're kind of waiting for this next lump sum win concept. And I just thought that was awesome because if you think about it, that is, the cyclic nature of your trading journal if you actually have one. It's allowed to come and go. It's part of the process. And on that note, actually the same strategy we're going to be using tonight and that we use in our morning calls. Another guy just passed his prop firm challenge, so I'm super happy for him. Maybe my team can flash it on the screen right here real quick because all they're using is the golden strategy. It's not as complex as we make it. But before we go there, I have to give a huge shout out. We have officially hit 1.1 million pips in our morning classes. That's 1.1 million pips. That's including, we had this nice 6-week string of no losses, and then we got a whole bunch of them, even big ones here, back to back to back. Again, that's part of it. But 1.1 million pips in our twice a week calls and our private mentorship. So if you're interested in that and want to come along for the journey, it is not something you want to come along for if you're planning on giving it a month. You want to come in there with the mindset of, hey, I'm going to give this a year. I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to learn what there is to learn so I can accomplish comparable results. That's the whole purpose. And if you do that, give or take your next 12 months, ideally you'll be on a completely different financial track. So either way, to give you an idea of what that 1.1 million pips looks like, remember, most of these are indice pips. So that's about $1.1 million, and that's a couple years' time. $1.1 million, I think we calculated this morning to be a little bit over $330,000 a year for about, an hour twice a week of actual trade session time. The rest of it's just hanging out and talking. So figure 2 hours a week. That's not a bad way to be at all. But I'm super proud. I'm super excited. I'm super humbled by all the things that we're doing. And that includes the weeks that are hard, that you kind of want to go, ugh, no fun. So 1.1 million pips so far, and here's to the next million. Tonight we've got quite a few. There's a lot of different things setting up tonight, so we have a lot to cover. So let me go over there to our actual platform and look at what we have in store. Remember, we're going to be reviewing EURNZD and GBP Chef. Okay. So here are our here are 2 trades that we looked at, right? This is the demo account we use for class times, we use for markups and things like that are not on TradingView, the things that we use our MT4 tools on, etc., etc. So first and foremost, we're going to review these 2 purple ones, and then we're going to review discuss a couple of other opportunities. So we were looking for a sell right in this window from where we called it all the way down to its lowest low. It's about 95, 96 pips. Not a bad way to be. I collected almost all of those pips. I think I got out right here after this pull up. Said, okay, I know I'm going to come back down and recapture all this liquidity. And then from in here, I was buying up. So beautiful way to be. Great trades overall. I've been trading NZD quite regularly, seeing how I'm limited on JPY here lately with all the mirroring software. It's been kind of a nice ride to run. But we're going to remove this from our list. That was literally just using the same exact strategy, and now we're going to take it off of our watch list. So it's no longer highlighted. This one's tricky, and it makes it so subjective, right, to talk about. It makes it so hard because then you get these people on YouTube or these coaches in these rooms, these signal providers that say, see, I told you, blah, blah, blah. I get it. It's frustrating. It's infuriating. I am no different. This industry is what it is, right? But that's why we spend so much time on that spreadsheet, is to show you, wait, this is predefined. You need to know what you're doing to manage, what you're doing to get in, what you're doing to get out, and have some methodology for all of that stuff. Otherwise, you don't have a duplicatable system. So on our duplicatable system, we said what? You need to protect or lock within about 25 to 50 pips. This one ended up moving about 38, give or take. Hard to see in this range. But depending on your broker, 38, 39 pips. This matches the rules we predefined. Now, having said that, analysis, not so good, right? Analysis, wrong. But you don't always have to be 100% right to win in this industry. You have to have a good management style to win in this industry over and over and over again. I don't care if you're on futures, Forex, options, stocks, cryptos, pennies. I don't really care which platform you're on. Binary options, you need a strategy and you need a methodology as a reason to get in and out, and we have that here. So this was the original JGS signal. This was a re-entry, came close enough to the 50 for my liking, plus we had the diversions here. We had quite a bit of things happening. Overall, obviously hindsight's 2020, this was an inaccurate trade. This would have been a losing trade had we not already called the management that we call in advance. So again, not subjective, worth about 25 pips, moved a total of 38, 39. Not a bad way to be. I was expecting at least to here, We didn't even get to that range before it just skyrocketed back up. We can blame that on the current world affairs, if you will, and geopolitical nonsensory. Either way, I like being able to show, obviously, the winners, when you bought here and it's like, woohoo, see, I'm a genius, I'm a guru. That's great. That feels amazing. Yay you, yay me, yay everybody in between. But how do you handle it when you sold here, right? When you made a different decision? That's just as important as the other parts of your equation, is what do you do? So you guys know, for the most part, if you've been trading with me for a long time, I like my stop losses to have room to breathe. I don't want to choke something so much that it can't fluctuate, particularly in the broker environment that we're currently in right now. All of the brokers, I feel like, are just dynamically all over the place. I'm talking differences of 50 pips in the way the broker opens and closes for session crossovers and news. You're talking this enormous exhale, this enormous, pulsating, if you will. So it needs to have room. Yes, that's where I put my stop loss. But how are you managing it the rest of the time? Equally as important. So that's why we predefine that in advance. Now, having said that, I'm keeping these videos to be true to the golden strategy no matter what. That's my goal. I will say, just clicking through for a second, there are a lot of good setups. Like if I click through every one of these pairs, I would tell you if I'm buying or selling and all the things I'm doing. There's so many. But I'm sticking to that strategy just to show you that you can stick to one thing and make it work for you. Again, we've got, a lot of people who have used just this strategy on multiple different time frames, scalping time frames, larger time frames, to pass and or continue to get payouts on their prop firms, or people who are trading their own larger accounts, smaller accounts. And that, I think that's even more important, because there's not as many limitations that you actually have to follow, which means you actually have to follow your own rules. Kind of awesome. But anyways, the strategy works and the management works too. You just gotta work it. Period. Across the board. USDCAD, 4 hours. Here's our JGS signal. We have made our impulse. We've cleared a level. We've come all the way down and filled this imbalance. Cool. So I'm going to place my vertical line on the candle prior to the one that we're on. When I jump off this call, okay, I'm going to be placing my buys instantly. So figure in the next 10 minutes, right? I might have a slightly different price by a couple of pips. Oopsie. I know what I'm doing. Okay, this is buy. So we're buying right here at this level. Remember, this has a very low ATR. You're going to be protecting within about, 25 pips, which is not that many. That's about 16. That's only, sorry for that circle being in the way, that's only in this area. Ultimately, I'm looking for a bit more of a move. Jeez Louise. Figure, love that circle. Figure between 60 and 80-ish pips. Easy, not a bad way to be. Now, your stop loss is going to be up to you. Here's the most recent fractal. Here's the most recent low. And, of course, here's our lower lows. Totally up to you on how you want to manage it. I like to typically, again, give my trades a little bit more room, depending on which platform you're on. If you're on a futures platform, by all means, use this area. If you're on any of the FX brokers that we know has a lot of widening, I would definitely recommend something along these lines. But at the end of the day, your call. So, we're buying USDCAD. Next is EURAUD. Actually, we had a trade on GOD. We have had a couple, and they have just been really taking their time. Again, staying true to form. Here's our golden strategy. Not there. Don't look there. Here we go. There's our JGS signal. We've come back. We've cleared this engulfing candle. Beautiful way to be. We've got a much better entry. Same deal. Here's our low. Depending on the platform you're on, I don't mind you using a tighter stop loss. If you're on a broker that has known opening and widening of the spreads through session crossover, especially in this environment as we're seeing so many brokers just come in and out, the liquidity pool is shifting, the platforms are shifting, it's going to be some growing pains. It's going to be some shifting pains. Please give this room. Your accuracy will go up exponentially and or mitigate some of your risk. So lower your risk so you can afford a larger stop loss. Again, same thing. This one has a slightly larger ATR, so figure 25 to 32 pips. That's only going to be into this range. You're locking, scaling, trailing, or protecting in this area. What you do is up to you. Personally, I don't prefer to lock profit as much because I feel like it gets wicked out all the time. If I have a say, my first choice is to scale out. So for example, if I have a couple of standards on here, I'm going to close some of those and let the rest run, rather than move my stop loss in a profit. You can also say, hey, I'm up this many pips. I'm going to apply a trail. If you have any kind of management, we have a great one from cooltradingtools.com that allows you to have a lot of other methods to manage. So I would super recommend that one. But at the end of the day, again, totally up to you. Not a bad way to be. Personally, I'm looking for a reaction here. I want to see how we react. If we're really, really consolidating here, I wouldn't be surprised to push back down and get one more time. If we're breaking through and coming up to this 3-week ADR, cool. I know I'm going to retest and then take off quite a bit higher. And then I'm going to be looking all the way into here. So we shall see. But buying EURAUD, buying USDCAD, and last but not least, we've got EURNZD. Obviously, there's no JGS here. We're not quite broken through the 50, not quite lined up. But just as a bonus tonight, I will show you Harmonic. This is one of the tools that come with our mentorship, our membership. There's a whole bunch of them as well as some EAs. This is what we're looking at. Beautiful entry here. I really kind of do want a bit more of a pullback than what we've got so far. So mind you, we're already almost at TP1. I would wait for that pullback and then potentially buy up. Even from currently where we're sitting, figure stop loss here plus some room, kind of a hefty stop loss. You're still at almost a 2-to-1, even with this price point. So for me and mine, I would put a bit of an alert because some of us are already in this. I would definitely put an alert to maybe pull back a smidge. At the end of the day, it's going to be up to you because we might pull all the way up into here before we pull back down, which is probably going to, I'm just going to draw this just because I want to. You got to think, if you wait for the pullback, it's going to be at a pretty close price point. So in this case, if all we're going to do is come up into here before we pull back, that's an option. And that's already 50, 60 pips. But your entry price is going to be about the same. It's not going to be dynamically different. So if you don't have a huge swap broker or your broker's not charging a lot of swaps, I personally wouldn't mind entering now. But for the rest of you, just know you might have to sit through a pullback. Part of the equation. So this is my next decision. Looking for a buy here. To stay true to golden strategy, we really do want to wait for this to confirm. So what I'm going to do is make this a perforated line and put a buy pending in. So when I get the alert for this, I'm going to actively take an entry on my live account as well. Otherwise, I'm going to sit out on this. So if we end up getting the pullback, I'm going to be sitting out for a little while. And if we don't, I'm going to be in this rather quickly. So that's how I'm going to do it. You can also use a pending buy order. Totally up to you. But those are 3 good trades to go take a look at. Reasonably diversified. Not a bad way to be. If these videos are helpful, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And all the things that help the YouTube algorithm get these in front of the next bajillion people that we're looking to help. This industry is hard. There are always going to be ups and downs, but my only hope is to help people see that it is possible. That with some time, with some patience, a little bit of math, and a little bit of skill, you can do great things in very, very small, baby amounts of time. That's all I've got for you guys this evening. Thank you for watching. As always, if you have any questions, comments, what have you, put them in the chat, put them down below. Our contact information is also in the YouTube description. Have a great couple of weeks. Take care, and God bless.